So when I was a kid, my family, we would go on these big road trips. When I was 6, we went from Missouri. My dad had a business meeting in Los Angeles, so we just drove. And we didn't go to amusement parks, although we did get to go to Disneyland that time. But we'd always have to stop at these like historic places along the way. We went to the Grand Canyon and the Hoover Dam and some, I don't know, the Painted Desert, all that stuff. But when I was 8, we went on our other epic road trip. My dad had a business meeting in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, of course, we're gonna drive there, and then we're gonna go to the Outer Banks, and then we're gonna go to Monticello and Washington, D.C., and then we went to Valley Forge, and then the next day we're going to Gettysburg. Yes, we have to hit all the history places. And so we were trying to drive. We left Valley Forge kind of late that night, and the next day we were going to Gettysburg, and we were looking for a place to spend the night. And we were driving and driving, but it was Memorial Day weekend, and all the hotels were full. And I guess we stopped at one hotel, but it was too expensive. And so we kept going, but it's getting late, and there's everything had no vacancy signs. I remember I was 8 years old, my brother's 10, we had a dog with us, we were in like an Oldsmobile sedan, and I just kept looking for vacancy signs because it was starting to get old. And finally, we see a hotel in the distance that doesn't have a no vacancy sign lit up, but it does have pink neon lights all around the edge. And I was like, even at 8, I was like, I'm not sure about this, you guys. We didn't stay at fancy hotels. I mean, I was used to a motel. I remember loving to stay at a Motel 6 when I was 6 because it was my age. But even I was skeptical of the pink neon lights. But my mom was like, it was 11 o'clock at night, I got 2 kids, we just need a place to stay. So they let us stay at this hotel, and it quickly became, in my family, like known as the absolute worst hotel we've ever stayed at. My mom's big memory is that when she laid on the bed, she immediately hit the plywood that they'd put under the mattress, between the mattress and box springs. My memory is like I shared a bed with my brother, and we kept rolling into each other. And I was like, oh, don't touch me. No, you don't touch me. That kind of stuff. My mom laid out all the bathroom towels on the floor because she didn't want us actually touching the tile on the floor. And after that, at 8 years old, I instigated a rule that we were no longer staying in any hotels that had neon lights around the edges. And so, like, for years we would joke, like, my dad would drive by and be like, how about that hotel? Look, it has neon. It's like, no, don't do it. So, I mean, this is just like a story my family told, like the worst hotel we ever stayed at. And in our story, it was always in Lancaster somewhere because I knew we'd left Valley Forge and we were going to Gettysburg. And then I moved here. 6 years ago, I moved to York. And I was driving out in East York one day, and I was on Market Street, and I pulled the car over and slammed on the brakes and called my mom. And I said, I think I see the Flamingo Inn. She's like, no, it was in Lancaster. And I was like, are you sure it was in Lancaster? And she's like, well, we drove for a while, and then there wasn't anything, and then we drove longer, and then there was a hotel. And I was like, yeah, like the distance from Lancaster to York. And so I'm describing it, like I took a photo of it and texted it to her, and she's like, oh my God, that's the hotel. So little did I know that I moved to the town that had the worst hotel in my family's history. I don't think the pink neon is up anymore, but this fall they came to visit me a few months ago, and we made a special trip out there. Like, it's not the worst hotel. I don't think it still contains, I stayed in a really bad Econo Lodge in Oklahoma once that might have taken that title for me personally, but we made like a special family trip out to the Flamingo Inn just a few months ago and reminisced about our terrible night in a hotel room. And it turned out it was in York.